What is up, everybody? Welcome to another random FPV interview stream. This week I'm joined by none other than Fluffy FPV himself, Mr. Sean Stevens. Sean, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for inviting me over, having me on this live stream. So it's been a couple years since we've seen each other, but it's good to see a fellow friend for sure.
Right? Always a pleasure to get a link up with you again, my man, for sure. Really appreciate everything. You've always supported me from the get go, so thank you for that. Give some quick shout outs to the chat. We got Ryan's RC. See my man Skadoosh is in the house. Double A. Jack Fu, what's going on, my man? Mr. Spat, we got Brutal FPV. Rick, hey, my man, good to see you. Mad Chiller in the house. And looks like that's it for right now. Let me see if we've got anybody else on the participant list that I missed. No, looks like that's about it. I did share it to a bunch of groups out there, so hopefully we'll be getting some more people to join us soon. I want to say thanks to everybody for joining. I hope everybody out there is staying safe. I know it's been very difficult. All of us trying to, be cooped up in the house and find things to do and that kind of thing. So, much love to everybody out there watching. I hope everybody is safe and in good health. So, Sean, why don't you take us to your very first experience of FPV? Do you remember the very first time you ever saw the hobby?
So the first time I saw the hobby was probably around 2015, going into 2015. I think it's like my first year of college. There was a company called Built Drones at the time, and that's when the Phantom ones and the DJI, the F450s and the 550s were around. So I was getting into it that way. I always went to this local shop trying to figure out what this drone scene was all about. There was a guy named Casey Sealock. I don't know if you guys heard about him. He used to do a lot of videos back in the day of how to set things up. Kind of idled, most definitely Casey, because I was like, I'm gonna work my way up. I'm gonna steal your job. Um, Long and behold, I actually did take his job. He's actually working for a drone team for Amazon in Washington right now. We're still good friends, but after he transitioned, I most definitely took over his job. But the first time most definitely was in 2014. I saw the F450 had the GoPro on it, the GoPro Hero 2 on it. I was like, "What? You can get some aerial footage." That was pretty much the first time I saw the drone and really got hooked into it for sure.
Okay. And do you remember the first time you saw like an FPV quad, like a race quad?
So when I first saw the F450, I started doing YouTube. YouTube was starting to get really popular back then. Obviously, going to the credits to Sharpoo, he was the one that was showing people how to fly through fences back then, especially his video through the park. I don't know if you ever seen it. He was like flying through a tennis court, and you're flying right through the door of the tennis court. There's a chain link fence, and he flew right through the door. Like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. Back in that day, it was just like, how did he fly through that fence hole? That was crazy. But now, uh, fast forward 2020, you could literally hit that gap with no ease, if not with a Mavic now with the obstacle avoidance. But Sharpoo most definitely was the credit of seeing the first of my FPV drones. That's when I started getting into the QAV series because of Sharpoo. He credited the QAV by Lumineer. Um,
The
but yeah,
X or the R?
the QAVR, the QAVX was the first one. Then the QAVR came out. That was the racing spec QAV that Sharpoo was coming out. But the QAVX was my first drone, first FPV drone, especially it was the Sharpoo edition. But yeah, Sharpoo lead the way for my FPV, and I got into QAVs. That's when I got into Kiss FCs. Obviously, going to credit of Steel. He most definitely put a stamp on the Kiss FCs. But yeah, going a long ways.
Right. My first one was a clone of the X210 Sharpoo edition, I
Yes.
think. And I, of course, had no idea at the time that I was getting a clone, or I wouldn't have. I bought a Banggood kit that came with practically everything except the FPV gear.
Yeah.
Um, and then I can't remember where I got the FPV gear from. I think I got it from Get FPV. But I had a tramp and like a run cam and X4 RSB FR Sky receiver.
Man, I remember when the SBs first came out, when the D4R2s, there was a whole big old transition between the D4R2s and the SBs. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, you can't digital. No one knows about digital. Digital sucks. You got to stay with the D4R2s. Blah blah blah. And here we are. The SBs were like the whole king of the show. And I don't know. There's a kind of relation between the D4R2 analog and the SBs. You know, the Fat Shark and DJI goggles, digital analog, maybe
right.
quote quote.
Do you remember what your first flight controller was?
Oh yeah, the NAS 32.
Okay.
NAS 32 was most definitely my first one. It was the non-OSD, most definitely the non-OSD NAS. I don't know. One of the pilots that I followed was, I don't know if you heard of FPV Flight Club.
Yes.
Yeah, so he was most definitely doing some how-to videos at that point. I was most definitely shadowing him. So he had the NAS 32 stack up, and he was running the OS Doji. I don't know if you've seen the OSD, the how do you say it? The stack up. There's you got the NAS 32, and you put the OS Doji on top, and you actually get OSD instead of being built into the flight controller. So my first flight controller was the NAS 32 with the OSD OS Doji. It was like a little, I don't know, Pomeranian dog for the logo. It was pretty funny, but great OSD.
My first flight controller was an Ace 32 as well, so we got something in common there.
Hey yo,
I got a little Terra 130. I don't know if you're familiar with that drone at all, but it's just a little small 130
spooky
millimeter
inch. Yeah.
quad that had an Ace 32 in it as my first. And then my first actual build was that X210 kit that I got, the Sharpoo clone thing. Um, I, of course, wanted more when I flew the little drone, but I didn't know what I was getting myself into. When I ended up buying the 5 inch and building it, it was absolutely insane compared to that little drone. Um,
Right.
and I realized I had to get somewhere that had some room, or else I was never going to be able to learn without crashing into everything around me, you know?
Um, Most definitely, like, I didn't get into FPV. My first one was a 3DR. I never had a first small drone at first. I've always started with the F450s, 550s, and the 3DR, the solos, and their little do-it-yourself kits. I don't know if they sold them as much, but I'll show you one of. Like, give
Yeah,
me one
grab
second.
one. Apologize for the late start today, guys. I updated Zoom, and apparently there was a setting inside of Zoom that I had to change to get it to work with OBS. So if anybody's out there and they see that the Zoom update came out, make sure that you go into your advanced video settings and change your rendering format from auto to any of the other options, and it will magically start working with OBS again. I actually thought I was going to have to postpone the show, so I'm super hyped that I ended up getting it to work. Um, should have tested it after I updated Zoom, but things have been working so well for my software, and I hadn't really changed anything that I didn't think there was a need to. But obviously, I was wrong there. Yeah, Double A, that's right. We have nothing but time, right? Give a quick
All
shout
the
out to
time.
Leafy and to the FPV Authority. We appreciate you guys coming and tuning in. I think Sean's back. Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, okay,
Still
cool.
right here.
Yeah, go for it.
So before my FPV entourage, most definitely I was flying heavy lift drones. So this is one
Holy
of the
shit.
3DR kits that they had. This one I was flying the Hero 2s and the thermal cameras. So I was doing a lot of roofing inspections back in the day. So the 450s, 550s, and this big guy was my actual first drone. Um, then that's when I started seeing built drones start coming around in Jacksonville, and they were trying to get into the heavy lift as well as FPV racing. And that's when I started getting into FPV racing after I was doing like aerial photography, videography, and a whole bunch of that back then. Um, but yeah, I think it was 2015 when I started getting into it. That's when I ran into Lance Wolf at the time. I'm pretty sure you remember that name,
Oh yeah.
FPV. So Rotor Riot and FPV Life was most definitely the two top dogs. I was working the shadow with FPV Life, trying to get them started. Obviously, we see how they went. It kind of drowned it out, that's for sure. But
Turned into a Facebook group. At least
yeah,
that's still going at least.
it is most definitely FPV Life. Um, I remember when we were doing the 24-hour live streams.
Yep.
Um, that was pretty cool.
That was my very first stream.
Oh, really?
The very first time I ever streamed was 24 hours, or about 20 hours, because I came into it, when Lance wanted to take off. Um, yeah, that was the very first time I streamed. So you could say I jumped in the deep end.
Yeah, you did. Like you came out of nowhere, especially Array FPV, and who was the guy with the Lamborghini in California that was always on the live streams too?
Mindless.
Mindless FPV. Yes. Well, how's he doing? Well, where's he at now?
He stops in on my streams from time to time. He's still doing good. I think he had a baby. And I can understand. I've got a 5-year-old, and I know how much time it takes with a kid. So he's been not quite as around as much as he used to be, but he stops in from time to time on the stream. So he's definitely still flying.
That's cool, man.
A really
He
good
showed a lot
guy.
of, yeah, he showed a lot of support. That like more support than I could ever do, but he support a lot.
Yeah. Well, you did some support yourself too. A lot of people don't know that, but you've helped out a lot on the back end.
Yeah, for sure. I most definitely hit the ground running with FPV Life. Um, I'm not really the guy that tells what I've done, but most definitely FPV Life. I supported them in the back end, funded them, got their website up, the shirts, lanyards, all the shirts, free shirts that everyone got. That was because of me. Um, the motors. I don't know if you've seen the Vec Blue motors.
Yeah.
That was part of my funding as well. But he did pay back, so we're all good. Me and Lance are good buddies, but we ring in every once in a while, check
Right.
in what we're doing. But
Yeah, he's a good dude. No harm, no foul. I got nothing against Lance. I wish he'd come back around, to be honest. I
I
wish he,
completely
I
agree.
wish he would want to do shows again. I would be glad to do an FPV live, if that would come back around.
Yeah, I don't mind either. He paid me in Bitcoin.
Oh, sweet. You made out like a bandit on that, probably.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Right? So, who have been some of your influences as far as FPV freestyle? Who are some of your favorite people to watch in video?
Man, now or before?
Um, all of it from when
All
you
of it.
started till now.
Um, from when I started, most definitely. Well, we got to bring out the names again: Sharpoo and Steel. Um, I, no FPV pilot cannot say they didn't inspire them in some kind of way. Um, growing up, most definitely, I started going into obviously Rotor Riot was a good founding for any kind of videos. But right now, with my career, what I'm doing now, trying to copy Johnny FPV. You know,
Okay.
he's been kind of the star in the production world.
Right.
So every kind of shot that I'm doing, especially for my job, the producers always come up to me. It's like, "Oh, I want this shot." They show me a video. I'm like, "It's fucking Johnny."
Yeah.
It's like, "Damn it, Johnny!" And so, yeah, I'm following Johnny right now. He's my uh, current motivation to see what kind of shots I can do because the producers I've worked on Gemini Man as well as The Reckoning. I don't know if you heard of SCAD. SCAD, it's School of Culinary Arts and Design in
Oh,
Savannah,
okay.
Georgia. We fly a lot for SCAD, so they're always looking for these dynamic shots, push through shots, and stuff like that. But every time they show me a video, it's like, "Hey, I want this awesome Johnny FPV video," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, we can do it. This is how I'm gonna do it." And they're like, "Man, that's sketchy." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what you have to do." But a lot of the most definitely in the production realm is I get boring push through shots. I really want to do some spirals or like close proximity flying, but they won't allow it because of insurance issues. But yeah, currently Johnny FPV, credits go out to him. He's a magnificent flyer for sure.
Yeah, he's incredible. Did you see his new that sand dune video that came out not too long
Dubai,
ago?
yeah,
Freaking sick, man. Some of those shots he got around those towers in Dubai are incredible.
for sure. I love like how he made sand look so cinematic. He's got a cinematic touch, but I think it's more or less because he's got a production team. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to do all the editing. Just like me, I go fly and get the shots, and I have editors to edit them for me.
Right?
Uh, I think it's the same thing with him. I know how much he charges a day, which is really expensive. I don't know. Am I supposed to disclose that or not? But I'm not. Uh,
Can you give
but
us a
yeah,
ballpark?
a couple thousand plus.
Wow.
Yeah, a day. Like, yo, it's crazy. Just for a day for Johnny, it's crazy. But yeah, the Dubai, no, the newest video that he put out, I want everyone to watch it. It's freaking amazing. He makes sand looks amazing.
Yeah.
But the Dubai shots, like he was flying up, and you think he's flying up to it, but it's actually a reverse shot of like a reveal of the whole palace, and it was kind of cool how he did the transitions, basically flying backwards, not flying backwards, tracing the video backwards, reverse shot, I guess you would say. His reverse shots are amazing, and it's just I don't know if he plans it or he just goes play. That,
Right?
that's the whole thing I don't understand. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
some of the stuff he does is truly amazing. That's for sure.
yeah.
Give a quick shout out to John Hart. He did our thumbnail. Thank you, John, as always. We appreciate that. Looks like
Thank you,
Arctipex is in the house as well. What's up, buddy? Good to see you guys. Hope everybody's staying safe.
shout out to Jack. I know he's still there, but
Yeah,
Jack,
Jack Fu in the house. He said Johnny put out a new video today. I'll have to go watch it because I've not seen that. I'm looking forward to that. I actually reached out to him to see if I could get him on the show, but I'm not expecting a reply. I've never gotten one from Johnny. I don't know why, but I don't think he's too big on doing shows.
that I think he's really busy.
Artemis Prime in the building. What's good, my man?
I haven't seen that name in a while. Artemis.
Artemis is the man. So, what are you flying now? What quad are you flying now?
I guess it's a business pitch. So me and my buddies, Jack Fu as well in the comments, Cecil and Ryan, or us four horsemen, we most definitely have a company called Drone Kings, or Drone Kings FPV. I don't know if you heard it, but we're designing and making our own lineup of drones. It's all based on the balance core theory. So this drone right here is my main flyer. This is our frame called the Civic, or Project Civic. We call it the Civic because I don't know if you guys ever heard of a Honda Civic. That thing, no matter how much you drive it or beat it or destroy it, it still flies or still
Yeah.
drives. So we call it a Civic because this thing is nearly indestructible. This frame has been in commission for about 3 years, and between the four of us, we fly nothing but concrete. So that just giving a name to like how much it handles concrete. Um, it's hard to destroy this drone. The whole balance core concept. If you can see right here, there's a little cheese plate. This is actually the first version of the Civic. We actually had the Civic Type R. I don't know if you know
That's
Honda.
sweet.
Yeah, we have a Type R Civic. So instead of the 3D printed plate right here, we actually incorporated a frame. So it's all carbon fiber, so you don't have to 3D print this part anymore. But the
So
balance.
what's the purpose of that extra part there?
So that's all part of the balance core theory. So we got a regular 1300 battery. So in a standard format, we'll just use this Cinedrone. Everyone knows what this little squirt. Everyone knows what this is. But most typical drones, they have your plane. It's a flat plane. It's
Right.
either on the top mount or bottom mount. So when you're in motion, the back two motors have to work twice as hard to lift up the back of the motor. So let's put this down. So with this, when in its relative pitch plane. So
Oh,
it literally
it's flat
flattens out
now.
that plane. So the law of inertia, when in motion stays in motion, everything, all the weights in the center. So it's the balance core theory. So balance core theory. So we're balancing the core of the drone so it flies more efficiently. So the back two motors don't have to exert more power than it needs to. So it's a more of efficient flyer.
What an
Uh,
idea. That's very new. I've never seen anything like that before. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, we have four frames. The Devolucci was our first frame. It was a racing flame. I think it was 2016. Rotor Riot had a quad camp, so we went out there. Ladrib was out there. Stinger Swarm, Bardwell was out there. They got to fly our Devolucci, and they said that was really good. Um, the only thing we did, it was the first batch of frames, so it did kind of fall apart when it hit a tree. So, but other than that, they said they love the balance core theory. We have four of the frames: the Civic Type R, the Alanguardia, the Micro Raptor. But yeah, we're still in development. It's been 4 years, but we're trying to push it.
You guys have a website?
So typically with a small company, it's hard to have funding.
Right?
Our website's down right now, but you can check out our Facebook. We have all the pictures and everything on there.
And are any of the frames for sale yet, or are they still kind of in the alpha stage?
They are for sale. We have a good amount of frames. We just need to push them a little bit more.
Okay,
Make it
shoot me the Facebook on Facebook Messenger, and I'll post it in the chat and post it in the description of the video
for sure.
when we're done. I look forward to checking those out, man. It sounds I'm super interested. Do all of the frames feature the balance core? Or is that just some of them?
Yes, all the frames are 3 inch, are 5 inch, and I think we're working on 6 inch right now. They all have the balance core theory within it. Since you're having me as a host, we can most definitely send you a frame. You can, well, not
Oh
a
hell
frame, we'll
yeah!
send you a ready to fly kit. We'll send it over to you. All you have to do is throw your battery on it and go fly it. Well, you got to bind it too, but um, yeah, we could send you a whole test flying kit, see if you like it, and see if you notice any difference of the flying characteristics for sure.
I would be glad to fly that, dude. I would be honored.
Yeah, I'll send you one.
Octopex wants to know: do you sell just arms as well?
Yes, just you can buy the whole kit. You can buy just the arm, the um, um, the plates. You can buy everything individually for sure.
Right? Hell yeah!
The 3D printed mounts, if you buy the Civic, they're online as well. We can send you the STL files. So if you have a 3D printer, we can send you the file. You can print them. If not, we can also sell you one. We have them. We have a whole box of 3D printed parts. So
What components are you guys using in your ready to fly?
the ready to fly, the Helio stack up. We've always been Team Helio. We've never left it. I know there's a whole bunch of controversy between race flight and the F4 boards, the
Right.
beta flight boards. But we have always been Team Helio because of the processor in there. It's really good for overclocking and running at 32 bits all the time with no issues. So whenever we see a sale on Helio boards, we get those. The ESC stack ups, it varies between our team, between Jack. Jack is a race flight guy. I'm a Helio. Um, Cecil, he's between the F4 boards and the Helio boards as well. I know Ryan, he's a Helio guy. But yeah, we love the 4-in-1 ESCs. I'm running the Race Star 4-in-1 ESCs.
Okay.
I think it's the 40th anniversary. Right now, I have the Hype Trains, which is the Hype Train Acros, the 4-in-1 Race Star, the Helio all-in-one board, running a Tramp, and a couple of 3D printed parts, and the V1Ss for propellers.
Nice. Have you
But
tried
yeah,
Emu Flight on those Helio boards?
this is actually Flash with Emu Flight for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So I'm loving Emu on this guy. I'll
Sweet.
actually probably send you this one, so get ready to see it
Okay.
in a couple
I'll
weeks.
take it and I'll rip the shit out of it.
Test it for sure. Crash it. See if it breaks. If it breaks, we'll give you a new one. But I highly doubt it'll break. I promise you
I'm a
that.
crasher, bro, so let's hope, because I crash the hell out of them, that's for sure.
Do you fly
Um,
concrete?
you flying Crossfire?
Yes, Crossfire. So this has a Crossfire on there as well.
Sweet.
Type
Oh,
in
my
for the
bad. I should have saw that.
Yeah, no worries.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right, man. That sounds excellent.
Have you switched
So,
over to DJI yet? Digital? How you
no,
feel
I have
about
not. I've not. I don't know. It's a big investment, and then you got to try to outfit all your drones on it, and I don't know, man. I'm not dissatisfied with what I'm flying already, and so I'm just decided to kind of stay where it is.
that? Agreed. Agreed. That's how I feel right now. Like, have you flown the DJI goggles yet?
I've seen them, like I've went for a ride along through them, but I didn't actually fly it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. Like when I fly for work, I fly with the DJI goggles. It's just for video production, like getting the shots that you need to get. It's great, but if you're in a racing field, like if you're going to be like a full-time racer, most definitely analog is where to go because you're still going to have the cutouts within the DJI goggles for
Right.
sure. Um, but personal preference.
No doubt. So, speaking of your job, why don't you explain to the viewers a little bit about what you do during the, or what you do for drones with drones?
So I currently work for Ailric Production. It's a medium-sized production company. I do all the their electrical engineers, so I do their product development, building their batteries to their heavy lift drones, and also their aerial lead. So I go out and get their aerial shots that they need to get, intricate shots, not as intricate like Johnny FPV, but um, to the point of it, I can get those close proximity and dynamic shots they're looking for. But other than that, it's between electrical engineering, product development, and aerial lead. I don't. Oh yeah, even our newest one that we did was. Have you heard? Have you seen or heard of the new Gulfstream G700 or the
No.
G7 that just got released? So we did the aerial for them. We were the first aerial company to fly for Gulfstream to get the aerial shots they need. So I don't know. I'll send you a link about it. It's actually a really cool presentation for the like the G7. It's really cool.
That's like a new trailer?
It's for the Gulfstream G700 or the G7. I don't know if you heard the song "Like Fly Like a G6."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
The new model of airplane just came out called the G7. So we
Oh,
did
okay.
the aerial videography for them for their whole release.
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
Congratulations on that.
the authorizations were hard to get. That's for sure.
I bet.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Aerial lead, and I do product development, product design.
How long have you been working for them?
Going on 2 years, I think a little over 2 years. Before that, I was at Built Drones, BH Defense, building drones for military and consumer grade drones. That's how I met my team, Ryan, Jack, and Cecil, because we used to long days at Built Drones. We would stay till like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, tiny whooping the rafters in our store. We would have our little mini races and micro drones. Bro, it was such good times. But yeah, Built Drones, they got absorbed into the corporate, our corporate entity absorbed us. And then I started working for the production company after that.
Okay. Do you like it? I'm sure. I mean, it sounds like you enjoy it quite a bit.
Oh, I love it. It went from working primarily on drones, like literally I just did research development and build drones. Now it's research development, build drones, as well as fly. So I love the fact that I can just go and fly for them. Say, hey, we got an aerial lead. Let's go do this or let's fly that. I'm like, let's do it. I get paid for it. This is awesome.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
Congrats, man. I'm happy to see that work out for you.
Yeah.
I know you put the time in to get where you're at, so that's awesome that you've been able to achieve what you want, and it's nice to get up and want to go to work. You know.
Yeah, for sure. I truly do love it. That's for sure. but
So,
it's kind of far away from Jacksonville. My buddies, Drone King guys, they're all housed in Jacksonville, and I'm in Savannah right now. So working with them is kind of hard because obviously well, it's not that hard. We're 2 hours away, but obviously 2 hours makes a big communication difference. Just trying to keep everyone accountable, trying to see what we're doing, and trying to go fly is not a thing anymore. We used to fly every day or every other day, but now it's like fly every other month.
wow.
Yeah,
Well, hopefully it'll come back around when the weather warms up a little bit too.
yeah, and the corona.
Yeah, no doubt. Hopefully the corona will pass. I hope our that as a country we're getting ahead of it by locking everything down. I know quite a bit of crap shut down around me. I'm sure it is around where you're at too.
Oh, 100
Um,
percent.
the grocery stores are empty. The schools are closed. Lots of places are closed. But I think it's all for the best, and I'm hoping we'll get ahead of it while we got everything shut down.
I completely agree. Take the time and learn how to work from home. Working at home is kind of hard for me because like there's so many distractions, like things that I want to do that I'm not supposed to be doing except for work. Um, One is flying. I fly so much now, but work don't know about that. So wink, wink, don't tell anyone.
So, have you ever been to any events, any big drone events?
Um, Mostly just local events. Last large event that I went to was the freestyle competition that Steel won in Atlanta. That was a good while ago, and that was the only one that I actually been to. I was just mostly observing. I didn't fly. I was just like, "Ooh, man, all these cool people doing FPV." Um, but yeah, they were trying to figure out the quirks of how to um, start an FPV competition in Atlanta, but FPV competition is so hard to regulate or even try to like facilitate because like you can't see what kind of flip he had because it happened in like half a second. It's
Yeah.
like I need instant replay and super 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 slow mo. But yeah, that was the only one. No major offense. What about you? When was the last time you went to?
I think the Rotor Riot Rampage was the last thing I went to. That was pretty fun. It was at a old abandoned military complex, so that was pretty sweet. It had a huge turnout. Um, I got to meet a bunch of the drone pilots that I look up to, and a bunch of great people that I consider some really good friends. Artemis was there, Rick was there, Double A was there, Ryan was there. There were lots of folks there, so we all hung out and got to know each other. And I think I flew like 3 packs the whole time. It was like a 4 day or 3 day thing, and I think I flew like 4 packs, 3 packs. I was just spending time getting to know all the people that were there, so it was really cool. Oh, Mad Chiller was there too. Don't let me forget him, and a couple other crazy guys.
I remember those days, like um, either flying like 2 3 packs, just trying to get to know people, like who's doing what, where are they doing, what's their next step, or the other is you sit there, fly 3 4 packs because you're trying to figure out what's wrong with your drone.
Right?
It's like why is it not flying? Why is it not arming? And you found out it's like one of the UARTs were turned off, or you had it on the wrong like TX RX was flipped or some shit. I don't know.
Right? Had the wrong UART on. That
Yeah,
happens.
it happens. It happens.
Are there any events you want to go to this upcoming year? If we have any events anyway, you've ever
Um,
thought about going to the IO, the International Open?
yeah, I've been wanting to. Going back to Jack Fu, he's most definitely the pusher. He's always the one that's finding these big events that we should go, and like even Quad Camp, he was the one that he was the pusher for us to go to Quad Camp, and so he's most definitely our communication guy. Um, but
We need to
haven't gone
organize an
or
event. We need to throw an event ourselves.
I tried, Monster Jam.
Right? Tell us about that a little bit.
So yeah, we got the whole Monster Jam going on, and that was a couple almost a month ago, and Yeah, we Jack Fu, he was the guy. He organized everything for it. He was friends with the Soggy Bottoms. It's a place called Soggy Bottoms. They were doing, I think it's a preliminary rounds for Monster Jam. So he's friends with that event owner, or the owner of Soggy Bottoms. So he implied, he's like, hey, got a whole bunch of drone pilots. We can get some aerial for you. Let's do this. Um, Before the actual monster truck event, they used to do auto motocross, basically all the Auto X and the motocross races. So their big event was the monster truck. So it kind of led up to the monster truck. So he's like, "Oh yeah, you could fly because you've flown for Moto Auto X," and so that's how he got that connection for the monster truck. So he wanted to blow it out of proportion. It's like, hey, well, let's get an Airbnb. Let's go ahead and get everyone out here. Let's get Cricket. Let's get Random. Let's get Singer Swarm. But other than that, we had the Florida locals. We had a lot of people signing up, but not a lot of follow through. So, but that's perfectly fine. There's going to be more to come. Um, but the turnout for it, we got really good footage. There's a lot of quads that went down because of the mud, but their teaser video is actually really cool to watch. I'll send you guys a link after that, if anything.
Yeah, that's something I love about, like, recently I've been trying to pay more attention to like TV commercials and stuff, and you see a lot of drone footage in it, man. You really do if you pay attention.
Yeah, if anything, it's like mostly drone footage, like even for the monster trucks. Um, but yeah, I think he has another one. He's in the comments right now,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure he has, or will say, quote, wink, wink, Jack, when the next monster truck event is going to be, wink, wink, Jack. Because I don't know when it is, but he told me that there is one coming up. If
Sweet.
anyone's interested, hit us up. We need more pilots.
Looking forward to that, man. I'm hoping to make one of those before it's said and done.
Yeah, it's in Jacksonville, Artemis, Jacksonville.
Artemis is a great pilot, man. He'd be a good guy to have come.
Yeah, for sure. I want to do like the monster truck hitting the ramp, like with the dirt, and you like fly right under it, like do this whole.
Oh, yeah. If you
That'll be
timed
cool.
that right, that could be epic.
Yeah, that'd be epic. Like into the tire.
Right? Or an A arm or something.
Yeah, but yeah, what's new with you? Like, have you flown anything recently?
I've just been flying around where I'm at locally. I try to rip as many packs as I can when I can. I've been flying an Armaton Marmot that I like. It's Crossfire, and I'm still running like a Betaflight F4 on it because it just won't die. So, yeah.
I'm pretty much fly local here. The locals call me Mr. 30 pack because I literally have so many packs of batteries. He's like, "Are you gonna fly all these packs?" And I'm like, "Man, you got to stock up on batteries." But yeah, we got a local race tomorrow, which Alien Works, the production company, they're going to be giving out prizes. I think we're going to give out a frame. The funny thing is the first prize first prize is a QAVR. Funny.
There you go.
First prize is a frame. I think the next one's like a run can Swift, and third place is going to be a propeller. I think it's just a regular. The I don't know what kind they are. They're the Lumineer grass cutters. I think they are.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's tomorrow, so I'm going to go out for one of the local races. I'm a
Do you,
local guy.
do you race at all, or you just go out to support?
I do both. Um, I race with my Civic. If not, I race with my Chameleon. I have a Chameleon, but 90% of the time I race with the Civic. I'm not a racer, most definitely not a racer. But go out there race. I'm usually like the second to the last that loses. Then I go and talk to everyone and support them on the sideline.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with getting out there and trying, my man. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
When was the
So
last
you
time
got
you had a
any?
race?
What? Say that again.
When was the last time you went to a race?
Probably last year in Knoxville. I
Yeah.
I don't go to a lot of races, to be honest, because when I go, I want to race, but when I start racing, I start obliterating drones because I hit the gates literally. Like I don't hit them like I'm going through them. I hit them like I freaking ran into it.
Full
And
throttle.
I don't know. I may be good enough now to where I could get around the track a couple times because I've been putting in a lot more time on the simulator as well. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I need to go try it again. That's for sure. You got any crazy stories from races or other freestyle outings you've been at?
Um, Other than that, nothing too crazy. I travel and I do aerial. The last place I went was Letterkenny, Ireland. So we went over there. We flew the cliffs. We got a whole bunch of cool cinematic shots, especially with Ireland. Um, but no crazy story with drone. I flew through a car in Ireland. We had both of the we had a van. We had two van doors, and we had our producer and one of our cameramen sit in the back seat. And I was flying the cliffs, and I did a what you call it, a power loop over the cliff into the car and out to the cliff again. So it's like here's the van, the cliff's over here. So I'm flying. I went poosh over. I was like, hey, there's a van, and the door's open. I literally just launched through the van, and the producer and the cameraman's like, whoa, what's going on? They didn't even expect it. I'm like, all right, I didn't know anyone was in that van, but all right. But yeah, that was the craziest thing we did
That's
in
a pretty
Ireland.
good story, dude.
But
What about drone recovery? You got any crazy drone recovery stories?
yo, so flying with the guys in Jacksonville. I think it was with Cecil. It was just me and Cecil. Uh, yeah, I think Ryan was there too, and we were testing our new frame called the K3, Drone King's little 3-inch frame, bounce core theory and everything. Oh, bro, that thing ripped so much balls. It was ridiculous. Um, I didn't have a Civic at the time. I think I was flying a Chameleon or something. Can't remember what I was flying, but I think it's on my Instagram. But yeah, we were flying, ripping around the park, and it was getting dark. And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna power loop this set of pine trees." So I went to power loop. So I came from the bottom, and it was like a good 100-foot pine tree. And I power looped straight on top. So the drone recovery, I was like, oh man, I'm totally not getting that drone. We were going I wanted to scrap it. It's like whatever, but our policy within our group is no drone left behind. So went home, I got my Phantom 4, and literally we got the Phantom 4, you know how it has the legs.
Yeah.
So we had some fishing line come down to a little T and had a hook, and the hook would it was like a big old shark hook. It was like literally the size of my hand. That's how big that hook was. And we put it on the bottom of the Phantom 4. We flew it up. The camera was at a 90-degree tilt. It was like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, and we're just like trying to figure out where this drone is. And we're going down bobbing with this big old hook like in the tree, and we're thinking like, man, don't get the other drone stuck because you got
Right?
a hook and you're gonna hook it to the tree. But after like a few minutes, well, it was about 40 minutes of like flying this drone, like two batteries of the Phantom 4. We finally got the drone and pulled it out, drone recovery with a little fish hook, and we landed it. And yeah, I think we took a picture of it. I was holding the drone like a little shark, and I was holding the Phantom 4. I was wearing like a cowboy hat at the time or some shit. He's like, "Ah, I'm going fishing." But yeah, I think that picture's on my Instagram. I think it is. What about you?
Sweet.
What kind of drone recovery have you done?
I got one stuck in a tree at a local park. The same kind of thing. I got it stuck in the very top of this tree. It was probably at least 80 feet off the ground. And we ended up taking a bunch of rope. We went to Home Depot and bought like two spools of 75-foot each rope. We pulled it all off the spool, tied the spools together, and at first we were trying to like take it. We had a metal garage door hook, like it was like an over. It's like a thing you use to hang up tools in your garage.
Okay.
Um, we tied that to the end of it, and we were swinging it around and letting it go and trying to get it up to the drone, but it would never get quite close enough. It was always like 20 feet shy. So I took another FPV quad I had and I tied it to the bottom of that, um, in like a real loose, like where I was hoping the FPV quad would come out of it, and I just took it up straight at the drone and kind of got my visual as to where that drone was stuck in the tree at, and I just boom, like right into that drone, trying to like
Oh,
somehow hook this shit all together. Um, and it took like 3 or 4 times, but I ended up getting it like that. I ended up draping the rope over the tree, and there was a guy on one side of the tree and another person on the other, and we just kind of like
work it.
worked the rope back and forth until the drone finally fell down like plinko through the tree.
Yo. So you totally reminded me of one of my Jack, once again, his recovery story. His recovery story is ridiculous. We went so extra with his recovery. All right, so we're flying. There's an abandoned FBI building in Jacksonville. We call it our FBI spot. And it's two buildings and a big old parking lot. So
Okay.
between the two buildings, there's some trees and stuff like that. So you can literally power loop between the buildings and kind of like do this circle in between the buildings. And the trees, you can literally dive between the trees and come up the other side of the building. So Jack, he was flying around. I think I'm just gonna say it was his last pack because it's always the last pack. So he was flying his last pack before he left, and he got stuck in the tree. And we're in two buildings, and literally he's stuck in between in the tree, top of the tree of an oak tree. So we're like, all right, how are we gonna get his tree down? So, well, not the tree, but how are we gonna get his quad down? So these are abandoned FBI buildings. So they still got like FBI stuff all over the walls and stuff. So the whole crew, me, Jack, Cecil, I want to say Ryan was there. Um, we all busted into the FBI building and went to the top floor to look down, like looking down at the top of the tree, trying to find this quad. Or like, oh man, I can't find it. Well, what's going on? So this was like 5 o'clock. The sun is going down. It's like, oh, we got to get it. We can hear it chirping, like chirp, 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 chirp. We're like,
It's
oh
still
man, we got
plugged
to.
in.
Yeah, it's still plugged in, and we're just like, man, we got to get that quad out. So we get to the bottom, and we did the whole thing. Like, well, we did the rope. We throw the rope up there and try to work its way up, and we can't get it that way. We can't see through the top. It's literally buried in this tree, and we don't know where it's at. So Jack ran home. He went to go get a bow and arrow and literally tie the bow and arrow, the string, the rope to the back of the bow and arrow, shoot it over a limb, and work a rope up there to shake it down. So after, I want to say 4 or 5 hours that we're working this tree, trying to get we finally figured out where it was, and we're like, oh man, we got to get it. So we got he had the bow and arrow. We went over the branch. We finally got it shot over the branch. Got the rope. We tied the rope and started shaking it. Like, okay, it's not working. He's like, we need to shake it more. So we were like, all right, we got to get the truck. So we went to get the truck. We towed it to the back of his Tundra, and he started shaking the tree more violently with the truck. And it got to the point, it's like, yo, Jack, truck life. And he's like, truck life? Because that's our term now, is like truck life. So like, truck life. So he ripped the branch off the tree, ripped the branch off the tree with the rope, and the drone dropped to the next branch. And we're like, yo, are you kidding me? So we ripped one, not, it's not like a small branch. It's like this big around. Like it's
Holy
a big
shit.
branch. We're like, yo, you just ripped the tree off in the FBI building. I don't even know how I'm supposed to be talking about this. But so we went to do it again. We shot another arrow over this next tree branch, run the rope up there, start shaking it some more. We're like, truck life, ripped another one down, and we're just like, we finally ripped the second one down, and we're like, all right, we have two branches like this big around, like 30 feet in length. They're huge, like huge, like huge. And and we're just like, we finally ripped the second one down. We're like, yo, where's the drone? So we're walking around like 5, 10 minutes, like looking for this drone, and we can't find it. And we're like, yo, is it still in the tree? and we were gonna write it off right then and there. It's like, all right, this drone is gone. Like we did too much to this area. Like we can't go on. And oh yeah, like what Jack said, it was a kid's bow. It wasn't a real bow. It was like a little kid's bow. It's like peek peek. So we were trying so hard with this little kid's bow. But yeah, um, after walking around for like 5-10 minutes looking for this drone, we were like, we're not, we're we're gonna write it off. I'm sorry, Jack. We'll buy you a new one. Then finally, we were walking out and we see the drone right there. We're like, we got it. He's like, did it come out with the first branch or the second one? He's like, I don't know. So we don't know if it came down with the first branch that we did or it was the second branch. So we got his drone back. Everything's all good. And that was a good, I don't think, year and a half ago that happened. That was pretty funny.
Hell yeah, that was an awesome story, dude. The only other story I have about recovery, I got my drone stuck real high up in a cedar tree, probably like,
Oh,
I don't know, it had to be 75 to 100 feet up in the air. And I couldn't really figure out, I knew it was in that tree, but I couldn't see it. And I had a buddy that was with me that was flying, and he brought a friend along with him. His friend climbed up in this tree, and he climbed up like 60 feet up, um, to where he could see it. And we took a football and he threw it. We threw the football to him, and then he threw the football at the drone and knocked the drone out. But it was crazy how high up he climbed, dude. It scared the shit out of me. I was like, please don't hurt yourself trying to get my drone back. Like I'd rather just write it off. Of course, I was mostly upset about the GoPro. I think like
the
most of the
footage.
time that's the issue.
Yeah. So back to Jack again. I'm giving a lot of credit to Jack, but yeah, anytime like when we're flying together, if we get stuck in a tree or a fence or on top of the house or on top of a supermarket because we fly concrete, especially at the Krogers and Publix and stuff like that,
Right?
um, Jack would be the number one first person to literally scale, climb, or try to get the drone by himself. We're just like, bro, you're a damn squirrel. You need to calm the fuck down. Are you kidding me? Sorry about the language, but yeah, he's always climbing everything. It's like me, I was like, I can't climb 20 feet. I'm just gonna write it off. I'm done. But
Yeah.
yeah, Jack, he just freaking climbs that thing.
No doubt, man. So what inspires you to keep on going, man, to keep flying?
Yeah, just most definitely the dynamic shots. Like I always want to be better than most cinematographers out there, especially aerial cinematographers, because in the production world, everyone flies flat. They always fly literally horizontal or vertical, nothing in between. So me, I always want to fly, if not a Cinewhoop or one of my. I'm trying to develop a drone that can fly the. I don't know if you heard of the Blackmagic Pocket 6K or the 4K cameras.
I've heard of it, but I'm not super familiar with it.
Yeah, they're cinema cameras, but I do want to put like that camera on like this kind of drone and do the exact same thing, shooting like 4K raw or like high resolution 6K or 8K footage. Um, like what's the last one? We do a lot of documentary work. So what they get out of like DJI drones, little flat flyers, that's what I call them. They would just get little boring shots, cinematic. Well, not
Yeah.
really cinematic. It's just boring shots. But uh, I want to push myself to get more cinematic, the Johnny FPV style, if anything, to get those shots for the production company to make sure our name gets down for being an aerial cinematographer company. That's what's motivating me.
Hell yeah. Nothing wrong with that, man. You got to do something to separate yourself from the competition, that's for sure.
Yeah, agreed.
So, have you started you just in a prototype phase, or have you actually started building anything for that?
Uh, Still in prototyping. Me and Cecil we're kind of button heads on the one of the frames is an X class type drone. It's called the 767. It's 767 millimeters and from tip to tip. But yeah, I completely agree. Double A Nurk is doing that. I've been watching his videos too. He did a military shoot in like a. I don't know if you saw Nurk's video out in the oil rig. when he was doing he was, I think he was flying the Senate whoop. He flew into an oil rig and they were like holding guns, like,
Yeah, I think I saw it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, Nurk is another one. He's doing cinematography, especially with these little whoops or cinedrones. I
That's
recommend.
just a 5 inch with some guards on it, right?
Yeah, these little squirts. So that's pretty much what Nurk flies, especially for his cinematic shots. Obviously, Johnny FPV, he's got his own setup. I think he flies primarily 5 inch and outside. I haven't seen him do anything like close proximity dynamic shots inside somewhere. I've always
Right.
seen like outside landscape, big
Yeah.
places. But yeah, Nurk is most definitely a BA kind of guy doing these close proximities, working with that one company. I don't know who it was, but those are pretty much the shots that I'm doing. Close proximity, flying through, pushing through small places, interior shots, if anything. One of them, the Kessler Collection here in Savannah, it's a Marriott, JW Marriott Hotel. They just opened. They have a full size Brachiosaurus, the long neck, right? Is that a Brachiosaurus? The
Yeah,
long neck?
yeah. I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So he's got a full size, like 2 scale Brachiosaurus in his hotel, and it's chrome plated, and his neck literally sways back and forth on a pulley system with some crazy lights and stuff. But I'm going to be flying basically my Cinewhoop in there, flying around this Brachiosaurus and getting some cool shots of it, like raw inside of the hotel. Um, but yeah, Nurk is most definitely another competition that I see.
Right. Nurk's pretty freaking amazing as a pilot. I would say if you can get up to the caliber of him or Johnny, you're doing amazing things, my friend.
Yeah, I just need more chances like Johnny, but I'm on the level with Nurk doing all these small production, small shoot stuff.
Hell yeah. Awesome, dude.
I just need to be like everyone else and post on YouTube about everything I'm doing. That's one thing I don't do. Last thing I posted on my YouTube was like 2016. Like, are you kidding me?
Ain't nothing
I
wrong
think
with
I,
that though, man. I'm
I think I
I'm
got better things.
I don't post up that much stuff either, to be honest.
All right.
If anybody, I just super chatted myself. If anybody's wondering why, I've got Google. The way it works, they have to you have to build up to $100 in Google AdSense before they will pay you. And the whole time I've been streaming, I've never really been big on like people super chatting. I'm not gonna ask people for money like that, you know. Um, but over the year or whatever, I've built up to $93. So I just super chatted myself $7 so I can actually get my $100. So if anybody's looking at the chat wondering why Random super chatted himself, that's why.
That's a good way. I never even thought about doing that. That's a good way to self promote, if anything.
Right?
Like the
I
money
want
goes
my
back.
$100, man. It's $100. So I figure,
Yeah,
hey, if I put seven out there to get 100 back, there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah, nothing at
I
all.
would love to have that investment on a daily basis.
I would most definitely, if everyone's watching, support Random in his efforts, especially with his live stream. It most definitely keeps everyone connected.
Yeah, we try, man. We try. I like to bring people that people may not be familiar with, people, that are doing things heavily in the drone industry, but just a lot of other people may not realize it. And I know I've really enjoyed learning from you about the video aerial industry and, how FPV drones can be used in that industry as well. So I appreciate you coming on, man. It's been a blast.
Yeah,
See if
we
the
go
chat
back
has
on
anybody got any questions for Mr. Fluffy tonight out there in chat land.
that.
Props off says great investment. Yeah, I know, man. If I could spend seven and get 200 back every day, I'd do it. There you go. You're getting creds from Jack Fu. He says Sean is amazing. He is the guy that when everyone is talking about a hard trick or a gap, he goes and does it. That's awesome.
I try.
You got any kind of like a highlight reel or anything?
So one thing about working at a production company, I don't own anything.
Right?
So yeah, I can most definitely ask or inquire about the shots that I've done. But yeah, that's another reason I haven't been posting because NDAs and
Yeah.
they're not mine.
Yeah, you can't go posting up some documentary that's about to come out in a year, you know, I understand.
Completely right. There's so much aerial stuff that I would love to. Where we're actually working on our aerial reel. If you go to alienworks.media, we have an old aerial reel, but our editors right now is working to coop up a new updated aerial reel. So I'm pretty sure you'll see a whole bunch of my new shots in the
Oh yeah,
past
sweet.
couple of years.
All right, man. Well, I want to thank you again for coming on. It's been a blast. I think we're going to call it a night, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody next week. I've got Stinger Swarm on next Saturday evening at 9, so guys, make sure to come back and check that out. Check out Stinger Swarm, and if there's any questions you guys got, post them in the comments of this video, and that way I'll have them ready to ask Kevin next week. So, thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks for Sean for coming on. We really appreciate it. And make sure you guys go check him out on the social medias. I'll put all his stuff in the description. I hope everybody has a good night. Thanks to all the chat for coming and supporting us. And everybody, I hope everybody is staying safe out there. We'll see you guys later.
You guys take it easy. See you next time.